All right. That's my fault, y'all. I was muted. Welcome to Ears to the Street with Fact and Entertainment. Me, I am your host, HG. Um, I was talking and no one heard me because I was muted. So do we have any other buyers on here from this Lakes Summerville situation besides Bonnie and Jacoby?
I'm on here. My name's Letha.
All right, and you also purchased property in this development project.
Yes, paid in full, $9,500.
Okay. All right. And how about you, Tanny? Are you someone who invested in this?
Hi.
Unmute yourself, Tanny. Um, you have to unmute yourself. Let me see if I can do it for you. Yeah, you
I don't
have
think
to.
I can hear nothing.
I think you have to go over your. There's a way you can unmute yourself, Tanny, on your end. I tried to unmute you, but it's on your end. All right. Until she gets that situated. Um, so AJ, was that AJ who said that she did invest, or was that Letha?
It was Letha.
All right. And we've kind of went into Bonnie's story and Jacoby's story about how they initially got introduced to this real estate development project. Could you briefly go into how you got involved in it? What was the initiation into it?
I believe, just like Bonnie, I saw it advertised on social media, on Facebook to be exact, about, a community of like-minded people up in Somerville, Rome, Georgia. So, called the Lakes of Somerville. So then I started listening to the Zoom meetings, and, I was very interested because it was just going to be a community of all of us. So in February 2022, when I got my taxes, I sent 9,500 to Marlena Barnett for acre land in the Perennial Springs, which was, she had on the paper I had, you could pick the acre that you want or the lot, and I picked lot 70 for my $9,500. But just like everybody else, after a couple of months, after I paid the initial whole 9,500, everything started to fall apart, fall through. Things didn't make sense. It was like Marlena was telling all these lies and stringing us along. Then I started tax for my refund like in March. I did the job form that she told us all to do to request a refund. Every month I'm requesting a refund. So fast forward to now, once again I sent a message last month, and she to me via Instagram, there's only $3.80 in that account. What I should do is go after the people that she gave the money to get my money back. So this is the point we're at now.
All right, and are you individually doing this for your particular portion that you spent, or are you doing this as a collective with some of the other buyers?
Well, we all had to initially do our own, like to get our own paperwork in with the sheriffs. but we all together, encourage and motivate and help each other through this process of trying to get our refund back.
Right. Do you guys, and I don't know the process, so you guys will basically educate me and the viewers. And I know, with Bonnie, with the last show we did, and with Jacoby, I know he was kind of pro going the lawsuit route. I mean, this is supposedly, a multi-$1,000, if not $1,000,000 project. I don't know exactly how much, she couped from this situation. I know last time we discussed maybe about 300K or more. Is it a possibility, or have you guys even discussed possibly just going ahead and going the legal route as a collective, and and possibly sharing some of the expenses that come with pursuing something legally?
I have not, because like I said the last time,
Mm-hmm.
if we get a judgment against her, she can file bankruptcy. Then we've spent all this money for nothing. So we're trying to get
Okay.
a criminal suit as opposed to a civil.
Okay. And I was looking at some of her comments. I went on her page, and I was trying to get as much information as I could with this thing, especially with brother Ben X. And I seen some videos explaining how he wasn't necessarily involved in regards to maybe receiving any money, and how his Hereafter Farms also lost money during this venture. He provided some screenshots of you, Bonnie, in regards to kind of being okay with this. Are we at a point
When
where
was this?
this was this was this was, I think, within the last 24 hours,
Oh, we definitely need to go verify that.
or maybe not. If we could be, I have to go and look and see
If he
exactly when
posted a screenshot with Bonnie, we need to verify that.
Okay, okay. Well,
Because like I told him in my defense,
mhm.
I don't care what he can put out there. The main mission for them is to clear their name. But like I told him, you not finna tell me a CEO of a business not knowing what's going on in their business. For instance, you run this podcast and stuff like that. If something happened, you're not finna sit here and tell me you just have no idea what just happened. You
Right.
just finding out about it if it's been going on for literally going on 3 years, almost at this point, dealing with her, almost 3 years with her. So within 3 years, 2 years, you can say, if you want to be technical, 2 years dealing with her, you finna tell me you didn't know anything about this or know anything about her? I'm quite sure Farrakhan Rogers mentioned her or mentioned the situation to you for y'all to be like, okay, let's get up out of here.
Right.
So that's why some of that I'm not buying. Miss
Right. Yeah,
Maloney,
he's
Miss
he's
Judge
kind
Judy
of
voice.
he's kind of taking the position, from what I've seen, as if Hereafter Farms were investors in the same thing that you guys were invested in, and they lost money as well. So that's the position he's taken. He also provided just a sheet of paper saying, with Marlena, expressing that kind of absolving Hereafter of this situation, including with the Lakes of Summerville situation.
So they were
That's cute and all.
investors. We were buyers. Here at the farms and Lakes of Summerville were investors. We were buyers from them. So we were two separate entities. I'm on
Okay.
this page now. I don't see anything. I'm not seeing anything in regard to me on here. Do you know specifically where it would be, or what you saw?
Okay, give me one moment.
Okay.
Yeah, because that'd be vital. Because if he did release something,
Give me one
that's gonna get me
moment.
back up on my horses again.
All right.
Yeah, but everybody, I think I knew Marlena longer than anybody else on this, in this group. But they were buyers. Marlena used to take care of my dad. I met her through a company called Granny Nanny. I'm my dad caregiver, so they sent her over to
Okay,
be his
AJ.
nurse.
I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you. You have a static coming in with you
Hmm.
speaking. Do you
I,
guys do everyone hear
I'm not
that,
a
or is it just
computer.
me? Yeah,
Is
I
that
Mari.
hear
better
you.
right there?
I hear it a little bit.
I
Yeah.
do. I don't know. Y'all know I'm not a computer person, so I don't know what I need to do to
Try.
not
Maybe
have a
take your mic
static.
out and put it back in.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe that might help.
Mm.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Hey,
Good
I'm
evening.
on.
Is that a little better?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Much better.
perfect. That's perfect.
Okay.
That's
I
perfect.
knew her longer. I think I knew her longer than any of them. And like I was saying, I met her through a company called Granny Nanny when she came to take care of my dad because I'm his caregiver. So I needed help,
Hmm.
and they was buyers. I'm here. I did not put as much money in as they did. I did put some money in it when she first went to Summerville back in 2020 when the pandemic started. It was the guy was named Mr. Stubbs, so she was inquiring that property, to buy that one. So that fell through. But they was buyers. Everybody that's here, they was buyers. They was not investors. I put money in. Like I said, I didn't put as much as they did in. I'm here to speak on their behalf as well because I was here from the beginning, and everything that they have been saying, everything that they have been posted, my opinion, is all true.
Hmm.
Um, I used to take my dad sickly, because I even have a deed that she was. I have, I had an acre lot, 15 at Perennial Springs. So they have been telling the truth, and I'm standing with them because they're not lying. She's a piece of work, and they're not lying. They are buyers and not investors.
Okay. Okay. Um, I'm the only reason I'm putting this out here because I want the blame to be placed whoever needs to be placed on, whether it's you know this lady, I keep forgetting her name.
Marlena
um
Barnett, Neil
yeah,
Barnett.
Marlena Barnett. I've just recently came into the information that brother Ben X was at the ceremony. With you guys informing me of that, so I
Hmm.
tried to do a little digging to see exactly where was he involved at. He's kind of making himself seem like as an investor he lost money. Now we have you guys being buyers who have lost money, and I'm just trying to see who's besides Marlene. Is there anybody else that we should be possibly have our attention on? Let me go to Tanny for a second because she didn't get to finish because of the mic. Please chime in, Tanny, about your involvement in the situation.
Absolutely. So I came to learn about Hereafter Farms. I was a follower of Brother Ben X. In fact, I was a student in his digital real estate course. From Brother Ben's page, I came across some information about Hereafter Farms. So that's how I initially found out about the land that they had purchased. So I wanted to become a part of the initiative that they were promoting on social media. And so when I reached out to Brother Farrakhan on Instagram by DMing him, he had stated that, he would have someone reach out to me. When I received the call in regards to purchasing land, the call was from Marlena. And I recall her telling me that they had sold all of their lots at Hereafter Farm. And so they had referred me to pretty much her. So, but that they were partnerships, or they had a partnership together. So they were working together. When I received the job forms and all the information from Marlena to fill out in order to get back to them, it actually listed both Hereafter Farms and Lakes of Summerville as, owners of the land or sellers of the land. And so um, when I paid the money. It was to a PayPal account that belonged to what I later found out was Marlena's. And I purchased two lots of land for $19,000, and then I spent about $3,500 traveling down to Georgia for the owners retreat, supposedly. And so, yes, Brother Ben, he was at that event in March, which was supposed to be a deed signing that was taking place. We were all supposed to receive our deeds who had, purchased their lots in full. And we later found out that Hereafter Farms, they were out in Atlanta while we were on the land in Summerville, Georgia. We hadn't received our deeds that day. However, some of the buyers and owners did. And so, like I told Brother Farrakhan, I personally, because I found out about, this land initiative that they were promoting by way of Hereafter Farm. I thought that I was buying into the Hereafter Farm initiative due to the fact that they were partners. I personally feel like they're equally responsible, for paying me back my money. I have pictures of myself and Brother Ben while they're in March. And so, again, they were there as if, it was one collaborative. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
from my perspective and from my experience, both Hereafter Farms and Lakes of Somerville are equally responsible in regards to paying me back.
Right, right, and the way you just put it, I definitely would agree with that. This it seems to be there was no clear distinction, if there ever was one to begin with this particular situation. What I'm gonna do though, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with this video, but I'm gonna play this video, and it's very choppy, but you get a gist of Brother Ben talking about it, but then it gets real choppy. So I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can check it out. Right. All right, here we go. Can everyone see the screen?
Yeah.
We can see
Who
it.
is who's interviewing him?
This is.
And they tell you,
I'm sorry about that. His name is Bucci Badass. That's what he goes by. This particular page is called Pan Africanism Strikes Back. So, when you guys, when we wrap up here, you guys can go back to this page and do a thorough look at it and see exactly what Ben X said in regards to this situation. But this video took place within the last 24 hours.
yo, you trespassing.
Man, I'd be hot. Beyond hot.
I would be totally pissed. Like, what the freak?
Fast forward some. All right, 1 second.
When he mentioned you trespassing, was he talking to Ben or was that somebody else?
Nah, it's about to come in. I was a little.
Cassie, you muted. Unmute yourself. Let me get her name.
Okay, he's about to come in and talk to Ben.
Lick my melanin.
Right.
Okay.
And so we're
Okay, let me go back.
because they own other property that's connected to our land. But I told you, go out there, pick what you want. Did I not tell you that? Cassandra, you're muted. Cassie, you muted. Unmute yourself. Let me see if I can unmute her. Cassie, you're muted. But anyway, I guess she's muted. She doesn't hear. Unmute yourself, Cassie. You're
Okay,
muted.
what you saying? I didn't hear you. What you say?
Listen, listen. Did I not tell you go out there, pick what you want and all that? You can go out there on your own, select what you want. We'll set it up for the surveyor and all that. Did I not say that?
Yes, you said that.
Now he's talking
That's
about
it.
his
That's it.
land,
That's all there
so
is
he's
to
just
it.
making a
It's
point
yours.
by
You
talking
own
to
it.
her
You got the
because they're
title.
involved in his
You do
land.
what
But
you wanna do.
Ben X
You
is
ain't
coming
gotta
up
be
right
like,
after this.
yo, these white people said get the hell off their land. These Africans was like chasing me around with machetes, talking about I'm still in their land. Thank you, Cassie, for coming up here. You guys can stay up or go off. Either one. Ben, how's it going?
Good.
Okay, Ben, so we have a
He can't even
lady
get it out
who's making
right.
an allegation against you, which I'm going to be totally honest. I believe it. She's saying that you guys basically took her money. You were a part
What's
of
her
it,
name?
and I'm going to give you. This lady is, let me get her name. I forgot this lady's name. Not fast.
Instagram name.
Lick my melanin.
Right. I
And
get
so
that.
we're, right, okay, you can get to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it put up.
Yeah, okay. So, no, it's all good. So the lady here has a picture with you in it in an arrow. Clearly, that is that you or is that somebody else? Let's make sure it's you.
Yeah, both groups was there in Summerville.
Yes, but I'm just saying she has an arrow pointed at you, and then underneath, where's my money? Which means you were involved, or at least she feels you were involved in the
No,
process of her giving money.
no, I can explain. You gonna let me explain?
Knock yourself out. You got the floor.
Can you make my screen big?
Sure.
This is gonna be real quick. First of all, I want to show you this. Here's her picture right. Here's her comment right here. So real short and sweet, just to let you
Can you
guys.
expand that? Cause we can't. I
Is that
can't.
his mic or somebody else's mic?
You gotta if you can make my screen.
Who's
Hold on.
making that crackling
Okay, I
sound?
made it bigger for me. I could. I appreciate this post. I
Yeah, make
pray
sure
I
everybody's
get my
muted.
money back. This was 10 hours ago.
Right. So when I say this is two different projects, this is not be lying. First, I can talk about how I got
Okay,
it.
but I don't know what the post is. This is just saying I appreciate this post. I don't see what the post is.
I'm gonna get to all that.
Okay.
The way
Okay, someone's. I'm gonna pause it. Someone's
Yeah, it's
making
real bad.
that crackling sound.
Lisa, put your mic on mute, Lisa.
Okay, 1 second. Let me see if I can mute it. Okay, now who's making that sound again so I can mute them?
Try to mute Lisa.
Okay. Okay, that's what it was. All right, and I'm about to go back to the video. Oh no, it's not what it was. Letha, you're making. You have some background noise. Could you mute yourself? All right. It won't allow me to mute her, y'all. So let's try to just bear through it for right now. Matter of fact, let me do this. All right, there we go. I just removed her. I'll bring her back right once the video is over.
way I got into the whole situation, I was an investor in myself in the land project. I collaborated because I know with digital real estate, which is what I teach, which is my lane with the Here at the Farms project, which was content creation. I don't even live in Atlanta. I go there to create the content and spread the opportunity. There was two groups. One is called Lakes of Summerville, dealing with the sister that everybody is actually talking about, which is why she said, I hope I get my money back from her, not me or Here at the Farms, because it was two projects. On that particular land, she introduced that to Here at the Farms, which was our group we was collaborating with. And we went out there to buy the land. Ordinances was created, things was created by the county. They didn't really want black people living out there, period. That was a lot of the problem. And once that came about with the ordinance being changed, Here at the Farms actually pulled out. So no, they didn't pay us their money. If you go look at even Jacoby was one of the main people who she's talking about or who she's been with. Jacoby is the one who has made videos and things of that nature. I talked to him yesterday and 2 days ago about the whole situation. They're not requesting money from Here at the Farms. Here at the Farms didn't have their money. You may say, Brother Ben X, you're lying. That's why I have this right here from Marlena Hurst. Hold on, wait. Marlena herself. This is a statement from her. If y'all can't read it, I'll blow it up for you. I don't have to defend really anything. This is her words. This letter is to acknowledge that Lakes of Summerville LLC and Here at the Farms did not have a partnership or partnership agreement. Here at the Farms collaborated and invested in land with Lakes of Summerville, Georgia. So to clarify, Here at the Farms, according because I don't run the financial side, was lost over six figures itself. So Here at the Farms wasted a lot of money out there before we had to move out. Again, their money did not go to Here at the Farms. She continues in state, Here at the Farms and Lakes in Summerville, Georgia, shared expenses for the purchase of the land and development costs. In March of 2022, Chattahoochee, whatever county, put a land development ordinance in place. Here at the Farms pulled out, and due to this ordinance, Here at the Farms forfeited all money invested, meaning that we lost the money. The company lost money by trying to go half on certain things. Development project, and shall not be held liable or responsible for any issues associated with this land. Also, those land buyers have been told this directly from her, Jacoby, as well. There's some other. So what I want to highlight here was
All right.
article.
I'm trust me.
Well,
I
since
go
he
ahead.
name dropped me, I'm going to defend that part too. So yes, she said that when we was on a Zoom call with Brother Farrakhan. I don't buy it because to me it seemed as if they had communication for her to come out and say that to
She was
make that
definitely
make
coached,
sense.
Jacoby. She
Yeah,
was
it was
definitely
so
coached on what to
even
say.
with that statement, you telling me you just not want to come out with a statement, but before you never even mentioned the statement, nor have you mentioned anything with them. But now the heat is on them. Now all of a sudden you want to come out with statements and saying that they had no involvement, but yet y'all was in a partnership.
Exactly. And just for the record, I just wanted to say I didn't even know about a Marlena or a Lakes of Summerville anything. You hear me? I only knew a brother Ben. I only knew a brother Farrakhan. These two gentlemen were the only ones who I followed because I trusted their reputation. Like I said, I am a student in his digital real estate course. I'm a follower of the nation. I was in the MGT courses for a while until all of this took place. And so it kind of like their credibility was shot at that point. In fact, I called them the janky promoters of the project, because they promoted this land and this project heavily. And like I said, I have documentation that says the partnership with the both of them. And so, the fact that he's, calling himself going on the record publicly to say that they didn't have a partnership, it's a bold-faced lie. It's a blatant lie.
Okay, okay. Yeah, you coming in today, Tanny, is getting it from another perspective because, like you said, you weren't aware of Marlena or the Lakes of Somerville. You strictly put your money into this thing off the name of Brother Ben X.
Period.
Um, how does this video with him saying that how how does it make you guys really feel about this situation? Like, do you feel like this is just one big cahoots type thing? Was it just a thing going bad, and right now this lady just
A deal
doesn't
went
have the
bad.
money? Deal went bad, but as buyers, you guys shouldn't feel the brunt of it.
Absolutely. And someone should have brought it to our attention. I feel like even with Hereafter Firms, it should have been brought to the attention of everyone who was a owner and or buyer and or investment. When they found out that Marlena didn't own the land, when they found out that the soil was bad, it wasn't suitable to
Exactly.
build on, when they found out that the water was contaminated, that information should have been, relayed to us in some way, somehow, and it was not. And then Marlena to this very day has the nerve to say that she's still moving forward with a project when she doesn't even own anything.
And
Now, when
back to a point being made by he talked to me the same time as he talking to me. That's when Brother Farrakhan let me know that the only reason they didn't come forward and say what happened is because it would have made them look bad, and because they lost over 200. He said 200,000. I don't know what numbers they lost because I don't see their numbers, but he said they lost 200,000. So I told him, well, just like you quote the minister always say, speak truth, speak truth, be truthful. No matter how it feel or hurt, just speak the truth. And I'm like, did not the minister say that? He's like, yes, sir. I'm like, well, that's what y'all should have done. Y'all should have came out. Y'all should have said what happened. Like Tammy just said what just happened, and then people would have been more like, oh shoot, they got screwed over too. Let me go help them out. And I said we probably would have actually joined y'all in this part. If you would have been on our side saying, hey, we
Mm-hmm.
all victims of this crap.
right, right. Now, Tanny, you said I don't know if we discussed this last time. I remember Bonnie saying something about the sanitation, but you said the soil wasn't fit to build on.
It wasn't suitable to build on. The water was no good. They were not able to install septic tanks. I mean, it was just a whole lot of stuff that came up, after it was all said and done. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It
they
was.
knew
So
this. They knew this even when we traveled down there. When we were there in March, they knew all of this, but they withheld, that information from us, and they continued to move forward with their lives
And not only that,
I
we had meetings every week
every
to
Monday
try to figure out
consistently.
what company we're
Hmm.
going to go to get our septic tanks. After they knew
Hmm.
the soil, we wasn't going to be able to do it.
Now, this someone posed a great question. So who has all the investors' money and I want to add on to that the buyers' money? You know, was she spending all this money on things that weren't happening or they were happening, and she is just didn't work out? Because where's all this money going? If we talking about 300,000, like where is it at? Did this woman just pocket this money? I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on it?
I honestly
We
think
never saw any receipts.
Yeah.
And nothing was done to the land. I mean, it still looks the very same, at least
Yeah,
from
and
when
then
I was there in March
and
of
then
2022.
and a few
Right.
people that she did use, there's they put liens on the property because she did not pay them. So that's why Mr. What's the guy name? Steve Montgomery came up, to put everybody off the land that day. Was telling us that he's done with Marlena with her shady business practices, and that's when we found out that there was a lien on the property. So he was trying to get that all cleared up because he had someone else, a potential buyer, because they're gonna use it as a hunting ground, because it was used as a tree forest.
Yeah.
That's what we found out it was being used as. And I wanted to piggyback on what BNX says, because even before he said, you might say I'm lying, I had already typed it in the comment. In the chat, he's lying. Because it wasn't no ordinance change. Each one of those property already had an ordinance in place. So she
Exactly.
was going trying to change it for what she wanted it to say. So it was already one in place for all the properties. For
And
all
then
the
I just
land.
want to say too, I think is that remember when we had the Zoom meeting with Farrakhan and Marlena, he only wanted to summon the meeting in order to clear or attempt, I'll say, to clear his name and hereafter firm. But like I think Jacoby said on the call earlier, Array, Marlena she's been coached by Farrakhan, and it is so obvious on to write those statements, to publicly come out and say that they didn't have anything to do with it, but they were partners, and I have paperwork to prove that they were partners, from at least the point that I came into the project, and I still feel like until up until now, I mean, they're
Right.
partners.
And you
Well,
guys
yeah.
haven't seen any receipts toward any type of surveying, this soil testing that she said she did. I think I heard in the video. You guys haven't received any receipts for this to try to pinpoint exactly where the money went.
So what was going on?
We don't have receipts.
I was behind the scene helping her, like kind of doing some assistant work for her because we wanted this thing to go. I had came in as a buyer for my family, and so I was like, let me come behind the scene and help. We was on many calls with surveyors and getting all that stuff that needed to be done for the land. She was paying a lump sum of money, but what happened was she didn't own the land, and there was things that couldn't be done because of the lien. So she was
Okay.
putting money in, having them start, but then when they come back and say, hey, we can't do this due to such and such, and then that was that.
Okay. Now, to your knowledge, was a initial deposit made for them to start work, or did she pay the whole lump sum? The work couldn't be finished, and then she didn't receive any type of refund back from work not being completed.
No, it was just a portion of it, a deposit, more so to start the work, and she would pay the full of the rest of the amount for the what they was doing on the land after the work was done. So
Okay,
when they
so
start,
that right, so
But
that
the
kind
only
of
thing was being done was trees being the little trees. You know how the bushes and all that. That's all they were really doing was knocking down whatever
just a little, a
trees
little,
were.
a little land clearing.
Yeah, they just little. And then how can you do all that with the little bitty excavators? Though you have to have those big
Right.
machines. And yeah, that was, man, it was crazy. And then too, before she did anything, before any money was spent on anything, she always called and collaborated with Farrakhan, so he can always put his part in with whatever they was gonna do. So she never did anything by herself. She always called them to get clearance on whatever it is that they was doing to what they was doing.
she was
Okay.
also booking rooms as well for people for events. So we'll travel. Some was traveling up there, and she was booking rooms. My thing is, she was putting all this money out, but how can you put this money out knowing that us as buyers was coming in? looking for lots, and you knew that it wasn't even going to be available. So why not save that money? And when we actually
Right.
refund, we got that refund back. But what happened is she took everybody's money and she blew
Right.
it on things with Lakes of Summerville or traveling, going back and forth to Washington D.C. for other things. But here we are without money, and she's telling us that she's broke,
Right.
Mm.
and now we can't get it back because now she spent it on things before Lakes of Somerville. But here we are, asked out. Excuse my language. We are sitting here without any type of refund, what we need or what we should have gotten back immediately when requested.
I mean,
I,
not to cut you. I just wanted to piggyback on that a little bit, just right quick. When, like the retreat, there everybody's coming to see where they're getting ready to move their family to, where their acres are. So they're not, they could have paid for their own way there. They didn't know that she was taking their money, getting hotels and doing all this kind of
Right.
stuff. You had people that paid their money right out that was ready to build right then.
And I'm so glad that you said that out there, because when I traveled down there in March, I was under the impression that I would be meeting with Jamel the builder, literally to talk about what supplies I was going to get. I was under the impression that I was coming down there and she was going to show me where my lots were going to be located at, so that I can plan everything out. And again, none of that took place. Yeah, so when I sent money, and the thing is, I never even signed anything. I never signed anything. So technically, those funds were supposed to be sitting in an escrow. I hadn't even returned my deed to her because after I got home, after we left from there in Georgia, after I read over the pre-sales, the agreement for the deed, I saw that there was already a notary signature on it, and I'm like, well, how? And I'm supposed to be the one to get it notarized. I just saw that there was some things that just wasn't adding up, and that's what made me rescind, my contract with her, my pre-sales agreement. Just a couple of weeks, I want to say maybe like 10 days after we left there in March, on March 29th to be exact, I rescinded on my pre-sale purchase.
So this
and back
Steve guy. Oh, go ahead, Jacoby. I'm sorry.
back to kind of pick it off for I think either that was Ray or Bunny saying about where her was starting some projects with certain people, and then next thing you know they stopping. Back to the when Jamil went down to the county and spoke with them, there was letting her. He came back and let both parties know, her and here at the farms, and let them know, hey, y'all can't build out here because you don't have building permits. Back to all the soil and all them other different tests. So even though she'll try to show, oh, I done paid for soil tests, so this and that. According to the county, ain't nothing been paid for because they never had anything, and that's why they couldn't build. They want to make it seem like, oh, they just didn't want us up here, so they was railroading us. They don't have no record of her even collecting the soil tests or anything like that. She trying to have these big old events out there, and they told her, hey, you can't have these events without permits. So she had too many red flags going on. Like she brought Queen of Foil out there, that turned out to be a big mess. She never could get no land out there. So
Now how?
it's just
And,
Trina
Now,
Braxton was involved. Wasn't that Trina
right.
Braxton?
Trina Braxton came.
Trina
And
and her
then
husband. Trina
And then I was going
Braxton.
to say those receipts that she presented to us, and Ray, that you probably seen, Marlena is so good with creating fake documents and, all types of paperwork. Those could have been fake invoices that she created herself.
Actually, those what she showed us she paid, she had handwritten those on the Zoom
You
call.
see what I'm saying?
And she wrote in how much she paid each of these people. We didn't see any actual
Hmm.
invoices or receipts.
No records, no bank statements or anything like that. Hmm.
okay. Off grid. Is your anything you want to chime in on off grid with this with what we've been hearing? Okay, I think off grid is having some technical.
Sometimes it's an
Oh, there you go.
even exchange. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Sometimes when you have the land, you can do an even exchange with someone who wants to clear off your land to take the certain trees. A surveyor will come out, and it's of no cost to you. It's an even trade. They'll remove the trees off your land, and in return, you giving them the trees, and they sell it and do whatever they want to with it. So she could have actually employed somebody for that. I don't know if she knew that or not, but that also was an option, and that's also an option for her to get away with saying that she paid for someone to do that when actually they would have took it for free.
Yeah, I think she did. And what
I the
happened
one
was
I
the
started
tree.
calling around. I was the one that started calling around, and they were saying that those trees they was too small. before she went up there, they had just took taken away the trees that was worth something. So, plenty of companies came out there, and it just,
Right.
The tree wasn't old enough.
I get what he's saying though. He's just saying like you can get basically anybody to come out there and do that type of work, and it gives the impression to the buyers that some development is going on, just basically to further deceive you guys. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's even more ridiculous that instead of like Tanny said, it's sitting in escrow or some type of holding account or savings account in a sense. She's using it for her personal expenses. Even if you need to go fly on a plane to go handle some business, you shouldn't be using the buyer's money. You see what I'm saying? Like she just was totally unethical.
Irresponsible.
Yeah, irresponsible, unethical,
Unethical.
deceptive
Yes.
in all her approaches.
but what
Um,
about but what about when they came to repo the the little house that Farrakhan had up there?
The
yeah, I
cabin.
was gonna.
You
Yeah.
remember the cabin? And they came to repo the one that he had, cause Joy and her family was living in there, and she pulled out $500 out of nowhere and paid it, and they still end up coming to repo it. That kind of mess.
So who is this Farrakhan person? What's his name? H Farrakhan. What is it?
Well, he's like her. He go by a few names. Either he's Farrakhan Rogers, or he's Farrakhan Ali, or he's
Farrakhan
Muhammad
Muhammad.
something.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we really don't know. He's an alias. We really don't know who he is this week.
Do you guys have
But for the
a
most
social
part, it's
media tag
Farrakhan
on him?
Ali.
Brother Farrakhan is his IG handle.
Okay, brother Farrakhan. Okay. All right. And you
I got
said
a question.
He's the founder. He's
Go
the
ahead.
founder of Hereafter Firms. The whole
I got a
initiative.
question. I got a question. I seen on there that the brother Farrakhan, he lists on the advertisement that he owns several land, and he listed Arkansas as one of them. Does anybody have any information on that?
No, and in fact, I remember
I've
when they were
seen it.
promoting in the very beginning, they listed several states actually as they were promoting land in the very beginning, the early
So
Yeah,
stages in
I,
2021.
I've
dealing
seen
with
it. I think they
Dr.
just
Sasha's.
Yeah, let's allow everyone to have a full, complete thought. Who is speaking? The young lady. Then we'll get to you, Jacoby.
They're dealing with Dr. Sasha Spade. And she came on to her Instagram is Dr. Sasha Spade. She has land. She also is selling some type of package where you get LLC, you get silver coins, and you get half an acre of land. I think for like $3,000. Initially, they brought her in, and she has land in all over the country. But I see they're selling land. I think it's Missouri, the Ozark, Missouri area on Farrakhan's Here at the Farmers page, but that's where they were in partnership with her.
Okay. Jacoby, please go.
no. I think Bonnie kind of nailed it. I was just gonna say they kind of do that. They go around and say they got all of this land, but yet nobody got no deeds or warranty deeds or anything to that nature of the land. Everybody they just promote it, but yet they don't have no documentation that they own it.
Okay.
Can I
Has
The
say
there?
this
reason,
one thing before Amar speak? I don't know if you remember, we was on a call, and Marlena thought that um, she called Farrakhan. We was on a call, and she thought he sold 75 acres, but he told her at Perennial Springs, but he told her no, we sold 150 acres at 12.5. So I was like, that was like a million and what, 1.8 million or somewhere up in there. They did very well at Perennial Springs before they left there.
Okay, and Perennial Springs is the thing that
Yep.
flopped, right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Wow. So basically, right now we have a million plus in the air, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, sir.
Mm.
And we hear
Um.
that a lot of their people, have filed a lot of complaints or have complained, and that he started, issuing refunds to their people as well. So, I mean, we don't know how true that is. That's just, me hearing it and us hearing it through the grapevine. So,
Besides you guys, I don't know how well you guys know each other, but besides you guys, do we have any other mention of other people actually receiving refunds and with verification of refunds?
No.
No one has received a refund that we're aware of.
No, no
No,
one.
And the ones that
no.
Marlena did issue, all of those checks bounce.
And she
Oh
did
my
issue
God.
a refund back to somebody I know at the time, but that was way at the beginning of the process when she had money. And that was
Okay.
what at the beginning when I came in, was that 2 years ago now, right? 2 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
So she's using the same receipts over and over again to make it seem like she
Right.
is making, paying
All right.
refunds back. But yeah, no.
Go ahead, off grid. You have something you want to put in there?
Yeah. The reason why I'm interested in the Arkansas thing because we frequent Arkansas, we frequent the Hot Springs area, and that complete route from Little Rock, Hot Springs, all the way up to near Shreveport, Louisiana. So I'm interested in this brother Farrakhan, the land that he says he owned, because I like to check on that just to further prove. I mean, if he does, hopefully he does. But if he doesn't, that just adds to the culprit factor that
Yeah, this is
those brothers
yeah.
they knew that they were what they were doing. Ben X, I don't know the brother, and most people can say, well, you don't know what happened really. To me, it's plain as day. They were trying to. What the deal is that you give people a plan, and then when people chip in the money, once you get all their funds, that's when you're able to do a move. Now, the reason why his went through is because he had that exact amount of people. It's like a Ponzi scheme, like a pyramid scheme. He had enough people. The sister, she didn't have enough, so her plans had foiled. But when you show that video that the brother did, Pan African Strikes Back, and brother Ben X is on there, the way he's acting and the way he's talking, it made me so mad because he skipped all the way around the issue. The issue was his association with that lady when he found out what was going on. He skipped all the way around that. He got to stating other facts that has nothing to do with it. He knew what she was doing.
Yeah, body language tells a lot. If I was in his situation, if just putting myself in his situation, if I was him, I would be outraged. I wouldn't be so calm and kind of nonchalant about it. Seems like he should be taking a little bit more accountability, just from the body language that I seen in that video. We're talking, millions of dollars, $20,000, $8,000, or $20,000. That's not peanuts. People work hard for that money. And coming from where I come from, things have happened to people for a lot less. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely not a joking matter. And and I wouldn't be so nonchalant if I was brother Ben X in this situation. Even if and then like the sister Tanny said, like, she came in on his behalf, so that makes him accountable right there. You have people who came in on your behalf, didn't have no knowledge of this other group that you're talking about, invested money, and still has not got property or return on their money. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm glad you guys provided, some of these names, because some of these people I'm not familiar with, but I think that was Jacoby, or someone said about Queen Afua coming onto the property as well. We all know her. We watch her all the time. Who mentioned her? I can't remember who mentioned her. One of you guys
I
said
I I, I mentioned her, but I think some of the other ladies know her a little bit better than I. I just know she was out there.
she was
Yeah.
out there at the ribbon cutting ceremony.
No, she
No,
was.
I
She
don't
came
think she.
after the. Yeah, she came after
Yeah.
the ribbon ceremony. She was. Marlena gifted her 22 acres. I remember her. I think she's like her aide or something that makes sure her schedule goes as planned. I think her name is
Okay.
Amir. Um, I could be wrong, but I remember her saying that they've only seen Queen of Full cry twice. And that's when Marlena gifted her those 22 acres. And that's when Marlena had to stand before her to let her know that she didn't own that land. And she cried again.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah. Well, based off what we just what was just said, she didn't come. She didn't lose any money though, did she? Right. So
No,
she,
Marlena flew her in. Whenever she came, I found out that Marlena was paying for her way to come there.
right.
with our
Okay.
money.
And so
Exactly. That's. Go ahead.
if I can
Please
add a
speak.
little, if I can add a little context to it. So you talk about name dropping, and we don't do this just to defame anyone's name, but it's relevant also to the case because at least for Queen Afua and also Trina Braxton, they were brought on, of course, for their name. And
Exactly.
the intent was to bring them on because, as brother off grid here said, her desire was to get more people to pour in this money so then she could buy off this land because she did not have the money, she did not own it, and so she needed that money to get it. And so her
Mm-hmm.
intent was, if I bring Queen Afua on, if I have Trina Braxton do a photo shoot, then it will give some traction, and then people will want to buy into this project. Even
Most
still,
definitely.
at that point in time, it was not fully disclosed as to where we were in standing of the ownership of the property. Now, I don't know if this has been mentioned before, but there were two separate pieces of land that she was, well, really three in retrospect, that she was attempting to attain. And so, in that, when we deal with the full spectrum of this whole project, some of us were promised to be placed in different places with the idea or with the imagination that she did own this. She even recommended for, at least for Jacoby and myself, to go to a separate land from where the Perennial Springs land was, because she said this would be a better suit for us, and this land was already ready to go. It had water, it had power, it was ready to build on, good to go. And so that was an incentive for us because we were ready to go ahead and start moving forward on this project. Later to find out, Jacoby going out on the land, helping out with different things, all of us putting our time and efforts into this project, into this land, to find out that she did not own it. And we were really, in a sense, trespassing on someone else's land. We did not find that out in full degree until Jacoby and myself filed the deeds that she provided to us, and she will claim that she did not advise us to file these deeds and that she told us to wait for the attorneys, and that is not true. What she told us was that what she normally does, which alludes that she has done this before, but what she normally does is she allows the attorney to file them for her, but she gave us the clearance to go ahead and file them ourselves, in which we did,
Mm-hmm.
because once again, we were under the impression that we owned these lots. She gave us lot numbers and everything, the whole nine. And so when we filed these deeds, we later on, maybe a month or two later, not even, we got a call from the actual owner of the land telling us, well, why are y'all filing deeds on my land? And now we have to deal with the aftermath of all of that, simply because she mismanaged, as Bonnie said earlier, mismanaged this project in full. Did she pay money towards the project? I do believe she did. I do believe she spent money on clearing the land, but that is foul only because you don't own it. So who goes on somebody else's land to cut down their trees? Who does
Exactly.
that? So it's very strange. And so a lot of us, we're not real estate agents, we're not land developers. So coming into this moment, we were not privy to all of what this process goes in. We didn't know all of the details. And we
Right.
came in on the faith and the strength, one, as Tani said earlier, on the strength of the name of Hereafter Farms. And so when we talk about name dropping, Ben X really, really, when he talks about himself and he says that he deals with digital real estate, that is true. But he was brought into this project for his name. But
Exactly.
he was
Exactly.
not brought on this project just as an investor. In one moment, you'll hear him say he's an investor, but in another moment, he's a co-founder. We're still trying to figure that out and try to figure out where he stands on that. And so all of this, with the strength of their name and the strength of what the nation represents, one would think that their heart posture towards this project would be different. So to speak to your point, with his body language and his demeanor, and he's not the only one. Brother Farrakhan was the same way to us when we had the Zoom meeting with him. Very relaxed, very chill, very much so. I just need to release myself of blame. And so
Mm-hmm.
once we peeped that card, we kind of cut that off as well, because it shows that although they advertise to be for our Black communities and our Black people, clearly you're not, because you left us to die. You left us
Mm-hmm.
for dead. You picked up your stuff and you left. You said, well, since you didn't owe me, since I don't owe you any money,
And because you didn't provide me any money, I don't owe you anything. But as a beacon of light and hope for the black community, one would think that they would stop for a second and say, hey, sister girl, you're not managing these people right. And they came in possibly on the strength of our name. We need to correct this. And that has not happened.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I totally agree. You know, the nonchalant attitude, the not want to take accountability to the, you know, the first thing that you choose to do is kind of disassociate yourself from any, you know what I'm saying, any blame. I think is a very cowardly thing to do at this point. Very cowardly thing to do. We have a question. Did they ever get a certified letter, not a call, showing who the actual owner is? How do you know the call was real? Does anyone want to speak to that in
Was that
regards?
towards me?
Well, it's
I can
toward the,
speak
the
to
panel.
that.
It's just a question. One of the. Please speak on it, please.
I can speak because I did bring up that. So we got a call from the actual owner of the land. We also, and I wasn't going to go here, but might as well. We actually have been summoned, not summoned. We had a notice of a hearing from the actual owner, from his lawyer, in which basically they're just trying to reclaim the right to those deeds because we did file them with Chattooga County. So not only did we get a phone call, but we have documentation showing the um the contract for deed that she was supposed to fulfill, in which she did not provide the correct owner with the money for the land. Therefore, she does not own it. And it does show actually where they did a title search as well, which shows who actually owns the land and who has the rights to it. So yes, we did get documentation. We have 2 certified letters actually in the mail delivered to my doorstep at 6 o'clock in the morning by a sheriff. So yeah.
Okay.
Not, and not to mention, we was in actually constant communication between her, myself, Armand, through text message. So not that he called us and then stayed in communication with us with the process to see how can we rectify the deal. And me was fed up with the whole process. He gave us 3 different options, and I told him just take it to court because we knew we was not going to get nowhere with her. So, in my opinion, in my head, I say, well, if we take it to court, if I tell him to take it to court, that'll draw her into court, and then she can explain to us. She can explain what's going on, you know, and that because we weren't gonna be able to get her. But if the white
Right.
man do it, I'm quite sure they'll drag her ass into court, and that's how I was thinking.
Yeah.
And
Um.
this is that Steve person, correct?
No, this is
No.
Clark Hare, a
Yeah, that's
totally
Clark
different
Hare.
person.
That's the farm at Chelsea, Mr. Hare, and the Ray. When we went to Summerville with her that day, when she didn't know where the courthouse was, after we left there with her, Ray and I called back up there to try to just find out what was really going on because it didn't make sense to us. And they talked with us on the phone, and that's when they was letting us know she don't own anything up here. She has not even filed nothing. You know, we found out she was behind because when Mr. Montgomery came up to the property in July, the end of July, he stated that she was 3 months behind. Then he said she never, got caught up. She been paying. She'll pay 6,000 here. You know, she's supposed to be paying 12,000. We found out on one of the community so called, and he said she was 3 months behind.
So her payments were supposed to be 12,000 a month.
Yes, we found that out on one of the Tuesday community calls. And, that was back in y'all. Was it back in March maybe or April? Was it
I
April,
don't know.
May?
I might have been kicked off by that point.
Yeah, yeah. But it was like 2022 when we all found out that. Matter of fact, when Queen of Fool came along, that's when we started finding out about it. Because Bunny asked her, how's that going to help us with you giving Queen of Fool, 22 acres? And, that's when she started telling us about Queen of Fool has all these followers and she's worth 23 million. How's that going to help us? So,
Right.
yeah.
And
Okay.
she
Yeah.
also, so when we received that call from Mr. Hare, just to add a little bit more context here, when we received that call from Mr. Hare, I reached out to her and we reached out to her directly and asked, what's going on here and what is the state of this looking like? We had conversations in which she advised, because you guys talked about escrow, she advised that the money that we had put in was put into an escrow account and some of it was given to Mr. Hare as earnest money. And so I then asked, what if this deal does not go through fully? Because obviously at this point it's not done. So if it does not go through, because her speech has always been, Mr. Hare wants to sell us this land, he still wants to go through with the deal, he still wants to do it, and she blames it on us as to why the deal fell through, which neither here nor there. However, I asked her where those funds were. She said that our funds, at the very least, were either were sitting in escrow. So I asked, if this deal does not go through, will we be able to get that money back from escrow? At that point in time, she said yes. Following up now to where the deal is not even on the table anymore, and we revisit that conversation. Now she's saying that Mr. Hare has been given money, and the rest of the money was put on to develop the land that she did not own. So now we don't really know the validity of all of this. I did have an opportunity to speak with the attorney who was working on this, which is the I Feel Office Law Group. And so we reached out to them as well, which the paralegal Abria Williams, I think her last name is. I know her first name is Abria. I spoke with her a few times, and they kind of expressed as well that one, Marlena should have never issued out any deeds, because in the state of Georgia, you have to have a closing attorney to issue out deeds. So she's arguing on social media currently that she has the right to send out deeds and create deeds, which is not true. If she just did her research, a simple Google search will tell you the processes in that state. And so we went through that. And so now to this point, what she's saying is now we have to sell, well, she has to sell back those lots, even though she does not own the land, for us to get our refund. So as you can see, that's probably not going to happen because she can't sell lots that she doesn't own.
Right. Off grid. Did you have something you wanted to chime in with?
Yeah, I was getting messages saying they couldn't come up. That's why I asked how many people can come on screen, or screen on here, they can watch it.
Okay, you're breaking up kind of bad. I think it only allows 9 people at a time, 10 including myself. Is there anybody that wouldn't mind? Not that really, I don't want to tell anybody to drop off, but
I mean,
we have.
you can drop me.
I'll drop off. I'll
I'm
drop
really
off.
here for support. I lost two, but to lose 22,000, that's hard earned money. And
Right.
and I've been here. I met, like I told you, I met Marlena when she came to start take care of my dad in 2000. I think it was the end of 19. So I'm more of a support to them to back
Mhm.
up. Exactly what they're saying is true.
Okay. I appreciate that, AJ, and the gentleman who exited. I appreciate that.
Talk
Make
to
sure
y'all
you
later, y'all.
guys, everyone on here, I need you guys to subscribe because we're going to stay on this. I've taken down the names of everyone that you guys mentioned because it's too much money to overlook, and me personally, I'm sick of all this. Black people are coming into this awakening information. It's the digital age. We understand that we're under an oppressor to a degree, some of us more than less. However, we believe in community. We're trying to make moves together. We're trusting people to be good, upstanding people, to do right by us. Yes, we all should do our due diligence, but like someone said, we're not real estate agents. We don't have the information. And if you guys are supposedly for the black community and you guys have the information and you have the know-how, we shouldn't be out of 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then with no one holding, no one taking accountability, she seems to be, I don't even want to say she's taking accountability. It could just be like she's just, effing around and just trying to get away with something. You know what I'm saying? If she made some bad deals or some bad decisions, she just needs to be held accountable. And she needs to get you guys your money back pronto. So we wanna stay on this ever. So make sure you guys subscribe to the page. Let me see. Off grid, are you on there? Are you on? Oh, off grid dropped off as well. Okay. So, and like Armand said, these well-known black conscious community figures, you know, were probably used without their knowledge. I don't want to place blame on anyone, and but not Brother Ben X because he seems to be in it. But like Queen of Fua, you know, I don't know if she has knowledge of this situation. Have you guys heard anything? Have you guys heard any videos from her addressing this situation, any shape, form, or fashion? Anyone?
No, not at
No.
all.
No.
No,
Okay. Okay.
I think she might be too embarrassed to even talk about it.
But that's the thing, though. You know, if she was promised something, if she was promised 22 acres by this lady, and then it didn't go through, and she cried about that, you know, I'm not saying she's held accountable in any way, but I think it'd be it wouldn't be bad to address this situation, to be like, man, what's going on? To talk to Marlena and see, hey, what's going on? You know, these people got thousands of dollars invested. You know, what's going on? You know, I came down there thinking you was going to give me something and it didn't go through. So what about the people who actually spent money? You see what I'm saying? Because we want to bring attention to this. I don't feel this is being talked about enough.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I have a small platform. It's not. And I have a small platform, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to do my due diligence and just assist with you guys, you know, because like I said in the first video, you know, I have an organization, One Nation Elites, and what she's doing is what I want to do. And I know that I'm not even ready yet, but I also know I wouldn't be taking people's money. You know what I'm saying? My approach is going to be totally different, but you know, this is a learning experience, and you know, it makes it harder for people like me who have good intentions. It makes it harder for people like Off Grid, who's down there on 69 acres right now, you know, trying to get people to come and build this community, you know, upstanding people that's trying to get this stuff done. And then you have someone like this that comes along, you know, has some connections with these people, basically runs like a marketing campaign to get more people in, and then everyone's out of money. And these are supposed to be leaders of the black community that are invested in it or attach themselves to it in some shape, form, or fashion, whether it was just a cameo. And then now we have, you know, good community people who's just out of money. You know, this people's savings. You know, it's people losing their houses and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Invested in this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't nothing to play with. So, you know, it's just ridiculous.
We had the lady that have a nervous breakdown. We got my sister with my niece that's literally on a ventilator. No, that's the only thing that's safe, keeping her alive at this point. So it's like I told Brother Ben on that call, I said, you know, this is no joke. You could say you haven't lost any money, but others can't say that. And you don't know what it took for this person to get and give this money and what it took for them to do it. So like, I'm like, if I'd have lost my niece, it really would have been bad. It would have been bad for all y'all.
Right.
And that's how I felt. And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I got something I'd like to propose.
Go ahead, Off Grid.
I ran this by HG earlier because, like he said, we got a vested interest in this as if we lost some money. You know, I didn't hear about this thing 30 days ago. I didn't know anything about this right here. My vested interest comes in because we've been out here before COVID. You know what I mean? We wasn't fully off grid before COVID. We used to come out here and camp on the weekends, but once COVID hit, we came out here full throttle. And we live out here. We 100% off grid, and we were never selling any land. People would ask off top. We would say we're not selling any land because if you really think about it, where are they producing any land at? Land isn't being produced. Land is just being sold. So anybody black that owns land, you should hold on to it. You should not sell any land. And we've never professed to sell land. We've never charged. It's never been nothing attached to what we do down here, any monetary attachment, because we thought that since we were down here and we got acclimated to it, we wanted to turn around and say, hey, y'all, welcome to come down here and learn what we're doing, learn about the solar panels and learn about how it is to be off grid and actually see an off grid camp, 100% off grid. That way, when you do get your land, you're able to better navigate through it. And also for some people that work remotely, they could have pulled up in a camper and worked from here because we never charge. You know what I mean? And it hurts to hear this right here because had we did the meetings and all that stuff. And we used to get all kind of asinine questions asked to us. How are y'all showering out there and everything? It's like we shower like everybody else. Hot water. Our power never goes out. It's a lot of luxuries to it once you get your feet wet and you understand it. But I think that possibly could happen. I know some of y'all have lawsuits going, and that's a great thing. But for those that don't, I don't see nothing wrong. But there's people willing to fight for you. I'm one of them. Matter of fact, everybody I know.
Exactly.
I think that I think we can put the word out, especially for the sister that lost that house. So anybody that wants to entertain this idea, my idea is that we put it out there what happened. And I'm not crazy about GoFundMe's, but okay, some people feel cool with that. But let's start a fund to bring awareness to it. That way we're killing two birds with one stone. You're exposing them for what they did, and also you're gonna receive some compensation back. Just real briefly, you had two cornballs in Denver, in Colorado, in El Paso County, the Mallorys, this brother and his sister up there that played this crazy game that they were being abused out there and cattle dying and everything. And it was all some bullshit. They asked for 25,000. They raised $200,000. So I believe we can get y'all 200,000, possibly more. That brother asked for 25 and he ain't showed nothing. He was lying on TV, all kind of, it was mixed up in some BLM type stuff. This case right here with y'all, this is easily proven. Y'all case is easily proven. And y'all have the y'all got the legs to stand on that, because there are, I mean, it may sound funny, but there's a lot of people that disapprove of the Nation of Islam, a lot of people that disapprove of the Moors. You guys may not feel that way, but there's certain key words. Like me personally, I'm gonna tell you, when I run into anybody that talks that sovereign citizen stuff, I turn the other way, because all it does is leads to something that you may not be ready for. If you have a clean record, which means you have no criminal, I would say steer clear of that, because you can end up in something that's where you're asking a cop, what's his jurisdiction? And it don't go like that in real life. It does not go like that. Don't let these people give you a story about not being detained because the officer got another call on his phone where he had a more important somebody to deal with, and they let me go, because a lot of them use that. They let me go, but they pull me over. No, the officer realized that this is something going to go back and forth, so he went ahead and let you go. But I think if we start a fund and we make more people know about it, we'll kill two birds with one stone, and y'all can possibly get your money back. I think it's a great idea.
I think it's something, what I'm saying, collectively should be done. Like this sister right here, Michelle N, how we as a community can support the families of the scam. And you guys deserve y'all money back with interest, with some interest, because this is going on 2 years. People losing their homes. Like Tanny said, $20,000. Like, come on. Like,
in fact, I recall her saying that we would receive a refund with interest. I don't know if she told anyone else that, but that's one of the things that I have in one of the messages that I received from her.
Okay. Yeah, make sure I'm pretty sure you guys are already on it, because we're just getting abreast of this, but all that documentation, all those phone calls, please hold on to that stuff, because it's definitely going to come in hand.
Yeah.
And if I can go on record and say, one, thank you to you, brother, and also Mr. Off Grid for helping bring awareness to this, and to those who may be watching this live as well. Thank you for those who are even putting out how can we support. And I want to say that thank you verbally and publicly also to debunk this myth that Black people cannot do things together. Lately, we've been seeing a lot, especially from Marlena, that this is why the Black community can't rise, and this is why Black people can't do things, because we don't know how to come together. That's not true. In every community, in every race, you have people that just cannot work together. That's not a Black thing. That's a people thing. However, we see now, and we have seen this amongst one another, because we don't know each other from Eve, to be honest. All of us on here, outside of Jacoby and myself, we've never met each other before this project and before this moment. But we have become a family. There are hours upon hours that we spend on FaceTime calls, and we check in on each other. And some days it's worse than other days. So some days we're like, hey, y'all, I hope y'all doing good. And it just shows that we can come together as a community. And so I wanted to also verbally debunk that, and to promote also for those of you who are still out here selling land, promoting off-grid living, promoting all these things that can help our community. I don't want anyone to think because of what we went through that it's not possible. And I think even
Exactly.
sometimes for us, we feel like, man, we done lost X amount of dollars. I don't even know. Now, sometimes your hope kind of get deterred.
Yeah. Yeah.
However, I do believe in my heart of hearts that we have all learned something from this. And sooner or later, we will arise above this with the help of our community and with the help of people like you. And we can now tell a different narrative that although we were done wrong by one person, as a community, we have come together and we have done things that we have never even thought about doing. So once again, thank you. And I'm going to hush and just let y'all finish out.
No,
Thank you.
that was beautifully said, and that was definitely an accurate statement. And that's how we gotta look at it, and that's the way it is. Just because we got this one bad apple that is trying to bamboozle people, look at what's coming out of it now. I believe you guys, we start up some type of fund or something, start getting some money back into you guys' pocket. On top of that, now you have the people who invested as the group. Now you guys are the can lead the whole thing. You have me, what I'm saying? We have off grid. He has the training on all the off grid stuff when you do acquire the land, because I still believe that you guys can acquire land. This is a learning experience. And it's just another hurdle to leap. So that was beautifully said. Beautifully said.
And it's beautiful that you're saying that, because in our groups, we talk about where can we go and find land elsewhere when we get our money back. Let's continue to push forward together, because like Armand said, we became family,
Yeah.
and we are all not just this has proven that we can come together, as a people, but we're wanting to come together as a people. We're wanting to build. We're wanting to be self-sufficient. We're wanting to build a sister and a brotherhood, and so.
Exactly, and never get discouraged. And I know it's hard times, like you said. You guys sometimes get online and y'all have had hard days, but never get discouraged. And to the point where like we build up this I don't trust black people thing, like Amon said. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's like one of the worst type of attitudes to have approaching this. Even though, like you said, it's a people thing. You got people that would do fair, upstanding business, and then you got people that's fucking low lives that's gonna try to manipulate and do it and everything they can to get over. Like this project could have been done, maybe it could have just had to be downscaled some. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the vision was a little too big. Just downscale it. Don't run off with people's money and just act like you didn't do anything wrong. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you guys all put your IG tags or Facebook in the private chat. That way, because I take a screenshot of it, I'm gonna send everyone a request so we can all keep in touch with each other. Make sure you guys follow Off Grid on IG, because we're putting something big together, and we need people like you who are went through the process, fighting this battle. But we got some things in development, and we know we can turn this thing around where we can still get the same result. We just got to fight the fight. We got to fight the fight, and it's sad that we got to fight the fight with our own people, and then we got another set of things we got to fight with other people. You know what I'm saying? So, but we just got to fight the fight. We got to fight the fight.
I'm gonna sidebar on I think Armand or you just said to the point of where her. At least I can talk to with Armand. We literally had a phone conversation with her, and I told her, listen, get rid of Perennial Springs, get rid of the 440, focus on Chelsea Farm. You say this is the best area. You say everything is already here. Do that. Let's focus on this. And then once we build this, because she called Chelsea Farm the luxury area. That was going to be the luxury area. So basically, you love 700,000 plus homes over there. That was going to be the luxury area. And then Perennial Springs is going to be just, I guess, more of the average camp, you can camp or whatever you want to do over there. Mm-hmm. And I say, well, build this area up first. The money we get from building this area, then you can turn around and go buy the other area with no issues. We're still not knowing that Perennial Springs is a dump, a shithole. But polluted water. But we was like, do that. She said, oh, now that I think about it, that would be a good idea, and we can do that. But it's like when you talk to her, it's like talking to a wall. You talking
Mm-hmm.
to her, she claiming she perceiving it, and then you go next week, same old rodeo. It's like,
Same
damn,
old
did you
thing.
get off the horse or are you gonna stay on it? So
Yeah,
that's
and
the
then
issue with her. She don't listen at all.
right, and it could be a situation where she's, like you said, just extra stubborn, made all the wrong decisions, or she never had intentions on anything, and she just listened to you and continued on with her, agenda. You know what I'm saying? It seems, in a sense, like she may have lined her pockets a little bit. I don't want to place, allegedly. Let me just throw that for everything, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? Because we already know how that go. But um, you know, does anyone have anything they want to say? I will be continue. Me and Off Grid will continue to be looking into this. We'll be continuing to share this. My platform is Ears to the Street, the way it's spelled on all social media. So all you got to put in is EARS number 2 DA Street, and you'll get me. Make sure you guys send all your contact information so I can keep in touch with you guys, so we can keep bringing this up. We're not about to let this. We're not about to let this go. Now until I start seeing some checks to y'all.
Right, right. And I think the Shade Room did a brilliant job on doing that article as well too. I really have to give thanks to them because they was the first outlet. We reached out to numerous outlets.
Okay.
I can honestly say they was it took them a while, but they was the first one to actually do one. And he did two. He did one on the channel 2 news, and he turned
Mm-hmm.
around and did the Shade Room one. So he stepped it. He came through 2 times for
Yeah.
us, and I respect that.
Mhm. I want to say also, Marlena has also put a business in my name. I came in as a buyer. I just found out that she used my business on a new entity without my permission. And when it was questioned, she told me that she thought she can trust me. Now, who in their right mind would do that? I live all the way in Iowa. Why would you go with? And I didn't even know she did it until somebody who also wanted to be a buyer called me and showed me documents on the Secretary of Georgia
Mm-hmm.
website that she went and put my name on a business without my permission. And she's still doing it. People are still sending requests in to view the land. Payments can still be received.
So
And this is
she's
the person.
continuing on with this.
Yeah. So if her intention was not to do this, then why continue to do the things that you're doing?
In
Yeah.
addition to setting up a new business, it seemed like every other week.
Yeah.
But she turned around. Remember, she turned around and bought furniture in that Thea name.
Yeah. She's been using our names. We don't know that we came in as buyers.
Wow. Wow. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
And
I'll
people don't
definitely.
know that.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I'll definitely be going. It takes a while for these videos to like go through the whole processing thing. So hopefully tonight I'll be able, because it took me a while on the first video to get it up on my IG accounts. But as soon as I'm able to snatch the video down, I'll be able to chop it up and post it on my other platforms. Off Grid, is there anything you want to say in closing, or anyone else want to say in closing to this situation?
Yeah,
I'm just
there's
happy
a
that the brother.
go
Oh,
ahead,
go
Alfred.
ahead, sister.
Yeah, let's sister go right quick. Thank you,
She,
Off Grid.
just to speak to the delusion that this woman has, she's still putting out content to mystery members that she's going to get an attorney and they advise her not to speak or put out a statement, but she feels compelled to do so, so that she can make people feel comfortable. This is the contradiction and her mentality that just reeks ignorance. If you have an attorney that tells you don't say another word, and then you say you feel compelled to say something, you can't be told anything. Your ego's too big. You refuse counsel at all levels. And it's just mind-boggling to me. It's so frustrating that she don't get it. She doesn't get it, you know. And I'm just reading some stuff she just put out in a group chat or group message, but it's unbelievable. She's sending out emails or some text messages that somebody sent her saying they're going to give her funding, but they can't give her too much money because it's going to raise a red flag. It's like, but she's not disclosing who sent it, you know. So it's just like she's leading people on to believe that she has funding, It's a
Yeah,
game
So
is up. You
she's
know what I mean?
yeah she's
she
continuing, but that's
she
a. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
she finna get an attorney, but remember she's broke. So, but yeah, you finna get an attorney. You got an attorney.
No, she got 98
'Cause-
acres she's acquiring. That was from the
Yeah,
article in the Canvas Rebel.
but she broke.
Okay. Off grid. Go ahead, right quick. Off grid.
Yeah, the one sister that brought up about that, that sounds like identity theft. Like you can
Yeah.
definitely charge her with identity theft. I would
Yeah.
say that it's important for y'all to get with the sister Ateria, the diva lawyer, because her and two other brothers that was on the first show we did, they were actually in contact with her on Clubhouse, and things went to the left when they seen some of her ways, and they disassociated with her completely, and
Mm-hmm.
she turned around and turned on them the same way that she's doing with you guys right there. So there's a history there, and also for the legal the legalities of it, because the sister knows about it. I mean, they had to file some type of restraining order against her, I think, and her husband or some man or something like that too. So get with that sister. She's actually trying to get in here. She's
No,
there she is right there.
I just let her in. She's in now.
Yeah, go ahead, sister. Speak on that.
I'm sorry, I can't really speak too much. I was just going to listen in because I'm trying to get this motion filed before midnight tonight. But I
Okay.
missed what you all were talking about too. I just came in, so I just caught the tail end of what you said.
Yeah, he was. Oh, go ahead, off grid. I don't need to speak for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, get with that sister right there, because there's a history, and all this information is pertinent. All this info is very pertinent. Y'all should be thankful that this lady has an ego and she's crazy, because she's helping y'all with this case right here. Everything is evidence. Every day she posts evidence.
Exactly. So make sure you guys follow up with Tia. Um, I screenshotted you guys who put your social media contacts in there, so I'll make sure I get it to Off Grid. You can get it to Tia, and then we can just see what we could do. Let's all try to link up, possibly on a private thing, and see if we could possibly put together a GoFundMe for you guys. See if we can get some support from the community to get some of your money back. Maybe that's maybe this thing has a bigger meaning to it, to where, not only can you get your money back, but we can really make a statement with this story on, not only prosecuting or holding accountable the people that need to be held accountable, but also showing what not to do in certain situations, because a lot of people are doing these land development projects. I have a friend in Chicago who has an organization. He has over like 500-600 members. They're looking into buying land right now. You know what I'm saying? My organization, once we get to a certain point, will be acquiring land. Off Grid already, and his team already has land. So this is a push for us to establish our independence in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And we just gonna work with the right people. We're gonna work with the right people, and hopefully this whole situation just it comes out on a positive, and I believe it will. I believe it will. Does anyone else want to say anything before wrapping? Because I appreciate you guys coming on here, sharing your testimonies to the people that were here, Bonnie and Jacoby and Tia and Off Grid, who was on the last one, to the new people, Tanny, Amon, and Ray, and the lady AJ who was on. I appreciate all you guys coming on and sharing your stories with Ears to the Street Media. Anything you guys want to say in closing?
Just thank you. We appreciate you.
All right, no problem, no problem. All right, well, we're wrapping up, y'all. I want to thank all my guests for coming on. I thank all my viewers for viewing in. Make sure y'all share this video. If you watch this video, you should be sharing this to your Facebook, to your Instagram, and getting this out here. This does not have enough publicity behind it, so we got to share the video. If we really care about these people getting their money swindled, we should be sharing these videos. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you share the videos. I'm please asking all the people on the panel to subscribe to the page, support my channel, and let's continue to support each other and stay in touch with each other. All right, well, this is Ears to the Street with Fact and Entertainment. We're signing off, and peace, and thank you.
Thank you.